Have you ever questioned yourself why you feel compelled to say yes to a request from a friend, or why a limited time offer from your favorite brand suddenly seems irresistible? Think about the famous scene from The Wolf of Wall Street, where Leonardo DiCaprio, playing Jordan Belfort, masterfully persuades his clients to make purchases. Or consider how public figures sway opinions with their charisma and authority.
You mailed in my company a postcard a few weeks back requesting information on penny stocks that had huge upside potential with very little downside risk. Something just came across my desk, John. Name of the company, Aerotine International. It is a cutting-edge, high-tech firm out of the Midwest awaiting imminent patent approval on huge military and civilian applications. Now, right now, John, the stock trades over the counter at 10 cents a share. Our analysts indicate it could go a heck of a lot higher than that. One thing I can promise you, even in this market, is that I never ask my clients to judge me on my winners. I ask them to judge me on my losers because I have so few. 4,000, that'd be 40,000 shares, John. Let me lock in that trade right now and get back to you with my secretary with an exact confirmation. Thank you for your vote of confidence, and welcome to the Investors Center.
In this video, we're going to explore the art and science of persuasion. We'll dissect the strategies used by marketers, politicians, and even our close acquaintances, not just to understand how to use these techniques ourselves, but also to recognize and resist them when they're used on us. From the principles outlined by Robert Cialdini to real-world examples ripped from headlines in cinema, get ready to navigate the complex world of influence and persuasion.
Researchers have been studying the factors that influence us to say yes to the requests of others for over 60 years, and there can be no doubt that there's a science to how we are persuaded, and a lot of this science is surprising. When making a decision, it would be nice to think that people consider all the available information in order to guide their thinking, but the reality is very often different.
Robert Cialdini, a renowned psychologist, identified 6 key principles of persuasion that can dramatically influence human behavior. Let's break them down one by one. The first key principle is reciprocity.
Now, there were hundreds, maybe thousands of individual tactics, but only 6 universal principles of influence that seem to capture the great majority of what all of these individuals were doing. Reciprocity, the desire of all of us to give back to someone who has given to us. So if an individual gives us something, a free sample, for example, we feel obligated to at least listen to what they have to say.
People tend to return a favor. Remember the scene in The Godfather. Don Corleone says someday, and that day may never come. I'll call upon you to do a service for me.
Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this justice as a gift on my daughter's wedding day.
Grazie. Yes, right.
Good.
This principle plays out in our daily lives, often without us noticing. When a friend invites you to their party, you're more likely to invite them to yours. Number 2 is commitment and consistency.
Another principle is commitment and consistency, the desire to be consistent with what we've already said or done, to be congruent with our internal values and what we've said that we're going to do. So, for example, one study showed that if you call people on the phone, registered voters, and ask them if they will vote in the upcoming election, they of course say yes, and they now vote significantly more often than if they didn't receive that phone call, getting them to commit.
Once we make a choice or take a stand, we encounter personal and interpersonal pressure to behave consistently with that commitment. A classic example is Apple's marketing strategy, creating a loyal customer base that consistently buys new products. We will go deeper into it, don't worry. Third is social proof.
Another principle is consensus, or what we call social proof, the idea that people want to follow the lead of similar others, people just like them.
This is the idea that people will follow the lead of the masses. The laugh tracks and sitcoms like Friends exploit this principle, making the audience feel that since others are laughing, it must be funny.
Can I see your ticket, sir?
Up next, authority.
Another principle is what we call authority. One way we can reduce our uncertainty of what we can do in a situation is to see what the experts on that topic are saying. So a communicator, once again, can increase the likelihood that people will move in the direction that the communicator is suggesting by simply pointing to the fact that there is authority opinion, there's expert opinion on this topic, and it is consistent with what that communicator is recommending.
People follow the lead of credible, knowledgeable experts. Pharmaceutical ads often use doctors to endorse their products, capitalizing on the authority of medical professionals. Have you noticed that? If not, watch these ads.
Teeth sensitivity is so common. It's not necessarily all of their teeth, maybe one tooth is sensitive, and when you're drinking or sipping the hot and cold water, it immediately feels like, somebody's poking directly on the nerve. I recommend Sensodyne. Sensodyne toothpaste goes inside the tooth and calms the nerve down. With Sensodyne, they're protected with prolonged use. And my patients come back to me and say, doc, it really works. They can make a difference with their teeth, and I really love that about it.
5. Liking.
The liking principle states that people prefer to say yes to those they like. Now, there's no surprise there, but research also tells us there are two small things you can do to increase how much people like you. First, you can point out similarities with them. Second, you can give genuine compliments.
People are easily persuaded by others whom they like. Influencers on social media platforms are perfect examples, as they build relatable personas to promote products. And last but not least, scarcity.
Another principle is the principle of scarcity. People want more of those things they can have less of. Scarce items, scarce opportunities become more attractive. So, if we have something that we want people to choose, one way we can do it is to say, there is this unique feature or this uncommon, rare aspect of this offering.
The principle that people are more likely to value and desire something that is limited in availability. Think about how limited edition releases or limited time only offers create a frenzy among consumers. As we delve into these principles, keep in mind that while they are powerful tools for persuasion, they can also be used to manipulate. By understanding them, you can learn to use them ethically and protect yourself against manipulation.
$437,500. These shoes were designed by Nike co-founder Bill Bowerman for the 1972 Olympic trials. He produced the first prototype of the sole in his wife's waffle maker by pouring rubber into the cast iron mold as an experiment. It was a game changer in terms of traction and led the way for modern shoes. These iconic shoes were put on auction in June of 2019 and fetched $437,500 from collector Miles Nadal.
Let's start with a familiar scenario. Remember the last time Apple released a new iPhone? There were long queues and it was all over the news. Why does this happen every time? This is scarcity in action. Scarcity creates a sense of urgency, making the product seem more desirable. But what's happening in our brains? Scarcity works because it taps into our deep fear of missing out. When we believe something is in limited supply, our desire to acquire it intensifies. This isn't just marketing. It's a psychological trigger deeply embedded in our decision-making process. Now think about a time when you saw a celebrity endorsing a product.
Michael, Nike drops the Hyper Adapts. I think you were literally the first person to ever unbox them.
I think it was like the only time I got something like exclusively. These things were so clean.
What was it like to see that technology? Have you worn them since then or what?
I'm not gonna lie, they've been sitting in a box the entire time. I'm like scared to rock them because they're all white.
Yeah.
And like one of those things, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna get another pair, so I just like wore them that one time. But the tech on this thing was crazy. Yeah, these things are clean, bro.
This is the principle of authority at play. We're more inclined to trust and follow the advice of someone we perceive as an expert or an influential figure. This isn't just about fame, it's about the psychological weight we give to authority figures, often unconsciously. Next, let's talk about consistency. Have you noticed how public commitments can influence behavior? When we declare our intentions, especially in a public forum, we're more likely to act in ways that align with that declaration.
I think that the team's done an amazing job of that. And then where this really shows up is in things like safety. So let's take a look at the safety video. So on the one hand, you've got a car that is one of the safest cars in the world, a Volvo S60.
This is about maintaining our self-image and is deeply tied to our sense of self-integrity. And then there's the principle of liking. Ever wondered why advertisers use charming and relatable characters?
Sneakers.
We're naturally drawn to people who are similar to us, who are attractive, or even those who simply compliment us. This isn't superficial. It's a psychological tendency to be more receptive to those we inherently like. Finally, consider the power of social proof. Ever followed a trend just because it seemed everyone else was? This isn't just following the crowd, it's a psychological mechanism where we look to others, especially in groups, to determine correct behavior, especially when we're uncertain. Whether it's deciding which cryptocurrency to invest in or adopting new virtual platforms, we're influenced by the actions of others around us, a strategy that has its roots deep in our natural instincts for survival and decision-making. Just like in the animal kingdom, where cows by a riverbank will follow a leader into the water, or birds will flock together, humans too look for social cues to make decisions in the face of uncertainty. Now, let's explore how you can apply these principles in your daily life, whether it's in your personal relationships, at work, or in marketing your own products. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use these techniques ethically. First, consider reciprocity in your personal life. When someone does something for us, we naturally want to return the favor. This can be as simple as helping a friend move house because they helped you in the past. The key is to be genuine in your actions. In the workplace, authority can be a powerful tool. When you establish yourself as an expert in your field, colleagues are more likely to respect and listen to your opinions. This doesn't mean being bossy, it's about showing competence and confidence. For consistency, consider public commitments. When you publicly commit to a goal, like running a marathon, you're more likely to follow through. This is due to the desire to maintain a consistent self-image. Liking is essential in all areas of life. Whether it's building rapport with clients or making new friends, showing genuine interest and finding common ground can go a long way. Lastly, social proof can be a powerful ally. In business, showcasing customer testimonials can significantly influence potential customers. Similarly, in personal decisions, we often look to friends' opinions before trying something new. By understanding and applying these principles responsibly, you can enhance your relationships, boost your career, and even improve your business strategies. Remember, it's not about manipulation, it's about understanding human psychology and using it to create positive outcomes. And that brings us to the end of our journey through the art and science of persuasion. Remember, these techniques are all around us, influencing decisions and shaping behaviors. By becoming aware of them, not only can you use them to your advantage, but you can also guard against unwanted influence in your own life. We hope this video has given you a new perspective on persuasion and its power in everyday interactions. If you found these insights useful, consider applying them in your next interaction and see the difference they make. And of course, if you've enjoyed this exploration into the psychology of persuasion, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that delves into fascinating aspects of human behavior and cognition. Stay curious and keep exploring the world around you with a critical mind.